just to make sure we're not talking to ourselves here.
Am I lagging?
Are you? Let me see.
My video.
At all.
Maybe like a split second, but not like you were the other night.
It's still annoying.
Yeah,
No,
it's like
not bad.
so subtle, very subtle.
It's very subtle. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, let me just double check. I'm going through an ad here, so I'm assuming the video is live. It's one of those unskippable ads, unfortunately.
Well, thanks so much again for having me in here, guys. Really appreciate it. I'm excited to talk to you guys and everything.
No problem, man. I'm glad to have you here. I'm like 90% sure we're live, but Rucking Hookers in the house. That's what's up. Okay. All right, we're live. What's up, everybody? We are here with Charles Gitnick and I clean up as always, but mainly Charles. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's up, guys? My name is Charles Gitnick. I've been an artist since I was like 5 years old. I started showing my paintings to the public when I was like 9 or 10 years old for the first time. And since then, I've just been, working really hard to, create a career for myself as an artist. And, since I've done shows all over the world, like Canada, New York City, Monaco, Switzerland, Colombia, and I've grown a, pretty substantial following on social media as well. So yeah, just, working hard to make it as an artist.
That's so cool, man. I was reading up on you a little bit today and it talked about like how early you got started. And I just kept thinking like you must have like such a great relationship with your family for them to like support you and fly you out and do all those things. Cause I know you sold some work in New York and you also sold in Los Angeles. And I was like, that is like the polar opposite of the United States,
Yeah. I definitely have. That's great that you ask about that because normally that doesn't come up. But my parents are definitely, really supportive and they've always been. And when I was really young, how I first showed my art to the public was just on the Venice boardwalk in California because I was there one day. We were by the beach, because I'm from LA. And I saw all these artists, with their tables just set up selling art. If you go there today, you'll still see it. And just me being a really young kid, I was like, I need to try that out. So my dad was in full support of it, and we went out. You have to go super early in the morning to secure your spot because everybody comes and gets their spot. So we go at 5 a.m, get our spot. We're there all day. And I think, the first week of doing it, we went every single day just trying to, make stuff happen. And I think after the first week, that's when, I also like opened my first bank account and I was able to pocket like $300, I think, which was like crazy back in the day for me, all from my art. And then, moving after that, you brought up New York as well. I was in New York. I think we were there on like a family trip or something along those lines. Also just in general, my parents love to travel and I love to travel. So we were there and I saw the same thing in Soho, all these artists with their tables set up. But the only thing that was different was their prices were way higher. And I was like, whoa. And I was like probably 11 by this time. And so I was like, dang, I need to get in on this. And I told my dad that and he's like, whoa, like that's interesting. And so we did the same thing. We flew out. We packed my art in the suitcases. We didn't want to pay like crazy shipping costs and stuff. And, we were just, roughing it however we could. We got like a little Airbnb and we just go out early in the morning every day. It'd be like freezing cold. I remember I'd be so young and I'd have to go pee. And it would be either like I have to walk to go pee by myself down the street or my dad comes with me and we leave the art unattended on the street. So it was just, there were many, circumstances that we had to just like figure out with me being a young kid and stuff, but we got through it. And I think, it's a great, childhood and backstory for me. So
your dad was involved in some sort of art. Is that correct? Like he was art history. Is that correct?
Yeah. In college, he studied art history and You know, just like me growing up, when he saw that I had a big passion for art, he was always like really adamant on me, you know, watching movies about past artists or reading books or going to museums and just like learning as much as I could about the craft once he saw that I was really into it. And I just ate all of that up. And, you know, sometimes he'd also like make it interesting. Like sometimes I wouldn't want to go to some like boring museum like any kid, but he'd be like, all right, if you can answer these questions and do this, like if you pass my quiz, then, you know, I'd make like 25 bucks or something. And that would make it like exciting for me as just a young kid. But in the end, it really paid off because now I just have all this knowledge, and um, it really is my true, you know, passion and really what I'm dedicating my life to as an artist. So I'm, you know, really grateful that he did those things, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. I'm so blown away because you knew at an early age that you wanted to do this, right?
Yeah, 100%. When I was really young, I just wasn't really into much other stuff. I would just wake up at like 9 a.m. every single day. I don't know why I had this like discipline when I was really young, but I wake up at 9 a.m. every single day, and I'd just go down, you know, I'd go downstairs and uh, I would just like make anything I could all day, just messing around, markers, whatever. I'd just sit at this little table, and I just did that for years, you know. And then you know, also when I was really young, before I did the Venice Boardwalk in New York City, I'd hold living room art shows for my family and, you know, our friends, and I'd sell my stuff for like $1 or $2. And you know, my whole life it's just been like taking it to another level, more and more and more. So yeah. And you know, there's been moments where I do other stuff like the social media stuff that took, you know, tons of work and collaboration with other people in the space, and you know, that's a lot of fun to create content of me painting and collaborate with other influencers. And you know, there's of course other aspects of, you know, being an artist, or at least like being Charles Gitnick, that, you know, are not just painting, but the painting and, you know, just hanging out in the studio is definitely like the most natural and, you know, the funnest part for me. So
So we'll get into more like social media presence in a little bit because I definitely have questions as far as that goes. So what would you say? You always seem to have like this resolve even as a young kid. What kept driving you? Was it just like the passion of the art, or was it your message, or kind of like what you wanted to do?
I think for me, I think I ever since I was really young, I was just always really inter I don't know, it just came really, you know, what came really natural to me was wanting to accomplish and, you know, prove to, you know, anybody around me that wasn't believing in me that, you know, I could actually do this thing. And, you know, I think as I got older and older, I just took it, you know, more and more serious. Um, but yeah, also just, you know, in my family, you know, my parents, you know, also made that a really important thing was, you know, achieving and, you know, setting goals and meeting them and setting a standard for yourself. And yeah, I think you know, being an artist is also kind of like being an entrepreneur. And I think, you know, my brother's also an entrepreneur, and I think my parents and my household kind of just like breeds entrepreneurs. That's kind of how I have said it. So
Do you ever find yourself wanting to kind of branch out and do other things, either music or other artistic styles?
yeah, totally. And I think, you know, in the future for sure, I'm definitely gonna do stuff. I just ordered this like really cool vintage camera, and just like photography and like capturing moments have always been really interesting to me. Not maybe not always, but definitely over the past few years when I've really like started to take my career, you know, really serious, as you know, since I turned 18, and you know, really decided that this was going to be my career path. I think photography has always been interesting to me, so maybe in the future I'll release some stuff with like some vintage, you know, camera vibe or something. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm always playing around in the studio, but I only ever release my best work, you know. So if you guys are seeing it, then that means I'm really proud of it. But you know, we'll see.
So, this is always an interesting question. Have you ever had like a quote unquote like industry job, like a real like Mickey D's or like a pizza spot? You know, did you ever hold down like a different job for a little bit?
No, not at all.
No.
The only other thing I can, say that has been, my job is relating to the social side of things and, doing things on, social media outlets that, bring in revenue for me. But no, I've never had just like a 9 to 5 job. And um, I don't think, I'd love it. I think I want to keep, working really hard to make this possible. That's what I think. Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I don't think you would like it. I've worked a few, not McDonald's jobs, but restaurant jobs, and not fun. Definitely
Yeah.
not fun.
No,
So
I think what I always heard though growing up was that restaurant jobs do like build camaraderie with the people around you because it's so fast paced and it's kind of like that's kind of cool about it. But
I will say that, like, working in the food service industry taught me a lot. Like, when I was in high school, I worked at this pizza joint, right?
uh,
And I had my friends that were at school, you know what I mean? And like, I vibe with them, that's fine. Like, I was cool with them at school, and this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden, I had like this older group of people that I was like, they were my coworkers, and so you know you would have high school drama and stuff like that happen. And it was like, oh, we're going through, drama and stuff like that.
yeah,
But like, I realized like on a Friday when I'm like knee deep in tickets and like there's no end in sight, and the people that are bailing me out are the people to the left and right of me. Like, those
uh,
are your true like friends.
yeah,
And so I preferred hanging out with those dudes more than the people I was even going to school with. And
yeah,
so there is a lot of camaraderie there, but it's only because you go through so much crap. So,
yeah.
but it's together, you know what I mean?
And
So that was the thing.
it's definitely interesting for me. Looking back, I also, I only did one semester of regular high school. After one semester, I made it a goal for myself also, just that I really wanted to prove to my parents that I was busy enough and that I had a substantial enough career that I could be taken out of regular schooling and be put into like a secondary system, not online, but what I ended up doing was this school where I'd go 3 days a week and it'd be like kind of one on one, so it'd be like tutoring, and there were other kids there that were working and whatnot, and there were also other kids there that had disabilities and stuff. Um, so that was really great, and I got a great education. But looking back, and I have a bunch of friends who of course did all of all the 4 years or whatever of high school, and it is a little bit weird for me, because I have this like weird like disconnect with my friends, and but you trade for different stuff, you get what you take in and you give out, right? So I luckily I've been able to experience tons of other stuff, and that's been a huge blessing that they haven't got to experience, so I think it goes both ways, but yeah.
yeah, so what do your friends think about that? Bringing up your friends, are they like, dude, this is so freaking cool, or are they also kind of like up there with you, like super popular, doing their own thing, and everybody just kind of doing their own thing, or how is it?
Yeah, I mean, I have my friends that I grew up with that I was friends with before I stopped going to regular schooling, like I explained to you guys, and then I also have other friends that are also like working like me that didn't go to college and stuff like me, and maybe I can relate to them a little bit more. But also when I hang out with my friends from school, I think they keep me really grounded and, kind of make me feel like very normal. So I think it's kind of cool. I kind of get the best of both worlds, but I think on both sides, on both groups, I get a lot of support, because you don't find a lot of kids nowadays that are pursuing this, an art career. And so, yeah, I think, out of my friends and stuff, a lot of people are there to support me, and they're always swiping up on my stories talking about my artwork, and yeah, all that stuff is really cool. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I know how hard it is to like market and such, and now you're actually breaking into NFTs a little bit more. Do you want to talk about your NFT collections, kind of where you started and how you got into NFTs?
yeah, totally. So a little over a year ago, I was hearing about all the NFT craze and everything, and me being an artist, I just wanted to learn as much as I could about the space, because I just viewed it as like a new way to release art. um, you know and so just learning about the different projects, and meeting people in the space. I ended up dropping my first project in April of last year, and since then I've been doing different charitable releases, mostly related to my message against gun violence, and also related to my message for mental health and mental health awareness, which are the two main topics that I paint about. All my work kind of has a deeper meaning behind it, and it's meant to provoke thought and dialogue with whoever's viewing it. And also just having being able to put kind of like perks, or whatever it may, whatever you'd call it, as a part of the release, like charity, and maybe somebody gets sent a physical version of the piece or whatever. I just find that so cool with the space. So um yeah, just learning about it, and being in the space for the last year has been really, really awesome, and I'm really happy to have done that.
But you've worked with like a lot of different people in this space. So you
Yeah,
worked with like what, Blitz Effect and like Glues, Chatty, who's like
right.
I'm a huge fan of and stuff like that. What was it like talking to those guys? Everybody, because you're young still, but you were young at the time, maybe comparatively speaking to these adults. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? What was that like approaching them and saying like, hey, I used to sell shit on Venice Boardwalk, swag, check out this,
Yeah.
like what was that like?
I mean, I think what's been really cool about the Cardano space is that everybody's been so uh, supportive and welcoming and everything like that. Like, since I've been in the space, it's been like I'll talk with Fettuccine, and we'll be, that sounds so weird to say, I know, but I'll talk with Fet, and we'll be like, oh, let's do a collab. He'll be like, oh, what do you think of these people? I'm like, oh, they're sick. And then when I'm jumping on the phone with them, it's like it's always been just like mutual, like two artists coming together, just talking, and like super chill. We both want to get our messages across, and you know, it's always, what I've noticed is it's always been like uh, everybody is definitely passionate about their work. Like, nobody just wants to put out like a shit product, and which is how I am. So I loved that, and also just how um, just how, kind of like what I was first saying, kind of on that piece, just how everyone was very welcoming, and I what I was meant to get at was they nobody was kind of like treating me like I was a young kid. Everybody was treating me just kind of like a another artist that they're talking to, another collaborator, another associate, I guess, which was really cool. So yeah.
Got you. I'm about to bring up some of your art real quick, and
For
we can
sure.
just kind of look at it together. So this is I'm going in the order, I guess. So the first one will be with Chatty. So this is the one that you did with Chatty, and all of these are related to ending gun violence.
Right.
Are any of them like more specific or specific to a certain part, or is all of these like with Blitz Effect, with Glues and Glitch, is all of that the same message with just ending gun violence?
Yeah, so
Okay.
most of the pieces are based off of physical pieces that I created. And a lot of the times those physical pieces have, a deeper explanation to them. Like, one of my most notorious paintings that was the physical that I based my first release off of was a piece that I made right after the Sandy Hook school shooting. And I was like 13 years old, I think, back then. And it was an amazing painting, like super powerful. And I just really liked it. And it always has gotten a strong feedback from people. So that was, the first piece that I released. And, that just as an example, kind of like I was saying, each one of my pieces kind of can have that deeper, explanation to them. But for the most part, it's all kind of that underlying message of, end violence, promoting positivity over, negativity. And yeah, you know, um,
This one with
that's a
Blitz
great
Effect or
one.
whatever. This one was probably I remember the day that this came out. It was crazy. Um, yeah, this is probably one of my favorite ones out of the collection. But you have like special editions of different ones and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally.
And yeah, I dug it like pretty hardcore. I mean, I know they were all over Twitter for quite some time when they came out. It was like everybody had to get one. And so
Thanks a lot,
um,
man. Appreciate it.
so when you first started, can you tell everybody how you mocked these replica guns up and maybe um, things that might have gone wrong or with the way you mocked them up and other things like that?
So actually, kind of like how I was explaining how, um, for each one of my physical pieces, there will be, that deeper explanation behind it. So after I'll make a physical painting, that's when I'll convert it then to a digital piece. So for all of my releases, including my new collection that I see as your backdrop, Nick, I have the physical, piece for each one. So for example, for the one that's his backdrop, I have, the drawing of the body, the drawing of the head, the drawing of the spider web, and everything that I create is first physically created. I'm a physical painter, so I actually don't work on my computer at all. I'm looking into possibly like learning about that and stuff, but for me, like always working in the studio and being free with the paint and just blasting music and just creating with my hand has always been what's natural to me. So for me, all that really that it requires is photographing it, making sure that it's done right, and making sure that I like the way it looks and everything like that. For this drop in particular, everything had to be layered correctly. I kind of had to do a little bit of testing out and see what I didn't like. I kind of removed some assets that I didn't like and added new ones that I did like that layered better. And this drop in particular took just of drawing probably on each character. I took like at least a month, and there's 5 different characters. So it was a long process of just bringing this project to life. And it's all in support of mental health as well. And yeah, I'm really passionate about this drop. This one has definitely been my longest endeavor, my the biggest thing I've done in the NFT space for sure.
Yeah, no, I love these, dude. These are still minting as of right now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're live right now.
Gotcha.
It's
And what is the total amount?
Yeah, so it's a
4,000?
collection. It's a collection of 4,444, and 10% of the revenue is going to be decided on by the holders where to donate. Kind of in relation to mental health awareness. And in our Discord, we're also really trying to make it kind of like a safe place where people can, talk about different issues that they're dealing with and whatnot. And, I popped in there a few times just talking about different anxieties and stuff that I'm dealing with. And yeah, I'm really trying to always make something with my art that can make the world a better place. And I think mental health is like a huge thing going on. Even it can relate perfectly to the gun violence that I also, preach about. So, yeah, I think that was just, my main, purpose with this.
Gotcha.
And so, uh, one thing that I struggle with, like in the mental game, if we're talking about that, is like, man, COVID and the pandemic really kind of, and that's another, like, this is probably 1A.
So this was the first piece that I ever released, and this was that piece that I was explaining that I made right after the Sandy Hook school shooting. And that's why I'm using those really childish, colorful rainbow colors. And there's multiple different pistols on the canvas kind of to signify, many different victims. And each color is kind of to signify that as well. And, it's a piece, it's like those songs that talk about sad topics, but they're disguised as party songs that everybody parties to. It's like this piece looks really pretty and it looks really cool, but it's actually has a really sad meaning, So.
Right. Like when I looked at it, the first thing I thought was like Christmas lights.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a great way.
So I was like, oh crap, But I knew like the meaning behind it, obviously, and so I was like, well, yeah, those definitely aren't Christmas lights. You know what I'm saying? Like, when dealing with the pandemic and stuff, I feel like we as a society are still struggling, because for me it was like, I spent a long time not being able to shake anybody's hand or hug people or visit people, and like for certain people, like, bro, that's how I survive, man, is through physical touch. And so when I'm sitting here, I can't high five people and stuff. I can't go out. I can't go do things and this, that, and the other.
Mhm.
It kind of hurts, and I'm still kind of feeling the after effects of it, to where it's like, so COVID's back on the rise, supposedly, especially like in my area. And so now it's like, well, are we going to get locked down again? And it just makes me more leery of it, more anxious about it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna have to wear a mask and then I'm going to be locked down again. I
Yeah.
remember what that was like. And it's like, I just don't want to do it again. You know what I mean?
I can totally relate. I mean, COVID and, being locked down definitely messed with my head a lot too, 100%. I think it did for everybody. And just like being social now, being in like really social situations with like a lot of people definitely just like overwhelms me now. And I think it kind of always did, but just being so away from that for so long, and then kind of like trying to go back to normal just like is not computing right. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's definitely a global thing too. And I'm not trying to give everybody a pass, but I know a lot of people used it as an excuse to get away from their job. But I think for some people, it's actually really hard for them to get the idea of like going back to the office. And some
right.
people are like really terrified too of getting sick, so they just won't go back to the office, and it's
Yeah,
causing a lot of issues in our work field.
totally. Yeah, so I mean, just with all of that stuff kind of going on, I think that's kind of why I was motivated to do the humanity CG drop. And so, yeah, I hope, so far it's been received really well by the community. Everybody, really likes the artwork, which is just, has made me really happy because, having put so much time into it and everything, that's kind of just exactly what I wanted, was to be, received well and everything. And so, I'm really happy about that. And um, just kind of popping into my Discord and stuff, it's been really cool to kind of see the community get built out on, people talking about their mental health and stuff like that. And, I think so far we've raised, I think, close to 1,000 ADA for, whatever charity we're going to support. And, that's having only just started our mint. And so, we'll be live for, the months to come, and hopefully raise, a lot of money for, mental health charities and stuff. And our holders will decide what to do with it, which will be really cool also. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was looking too, and on your project, it said that you were actually looking to build something beyond just your art. Did you want to talk on that, or is that more of a surprise or something?
Well, I mean, I think, that's kind of what I mean by like with the whole NFT space. as opposed to physical art. That's kind of what I was referring to with, NFTs being able to come with so much stuff packaged kind of into one, like charity and, our community coming together and supporting each other. And, those two things in particular are just really, just really attractive to me, that my art could like cause that, or like could create that. So that's kind of what I was referring to in that sense of, building a community of people that support each other and spreading, mental health awareness, and also, supporting charities like literally with money. And also something I want to bring up too is I'm working with my team this year to start the End Violence Foundation, which I want to be linked to the secondary funds, wallet that my End Violence NFTs are linked to. And, that way, in theory, this foundation could live on forever, even long after I'm gone, because it's, being funded by the secondary market. And, what I want that foundation to do is focus on people that have been, affected by gun violence, by, helping them like any way we can with, funeral costs maybe, or therapy, covering that, or, maybe even just sending a family to Disneyland to get their mind off of everything. Just anything along those lines. We don't want families going into debt to cover a funeral for their child who just got killed. Like, that is just like beyond, like, that cannot be happening. You know what I mean? So that's what I really want to focus on also moving forward. Sorry to ramble on a little bit.
No, you're good. You're good. So do you have a particular piece? Like, I know that when you create these, right, one kind of takes a place of the other as your favorite.
Yeah.
There's something maybe you're working on now that you're like, oh crap, like this is it. What's
I think for me, I'm still kind of like soaking in the Humanity CG release. Like, I'm still kind of stuck on that. Like, I'm still like looking through all the mints and like admiring all the pieces. I think it's going to take a little bit more time for me to be like on to the next thing and being like obsessed with it. But that's definitely the truth. Like, anytime I have a new collection or a new piece or a new whatever, I really like become obsessed with it, and it becomes like my favorite, over everything else I've ever made in my whole life, even though that's can't be true, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw a video of you painting one of these, and it looked like you took out some spray paint, kind of sprayed on some of the effects as well. I wanted to know, like, do you do a lot of spray paint art as well?
Yeah, so literally a lot of this release was pretty much, if you look at if I'm remembering correctly, yeah, if you look at like most of the color in this release, it was spray painted on. So kind of like you'll see, you'll see kind of like the marks and whatnot, the mist, kind of coming off, or the spray marks. And I'm glad that you asked that, because spray paint is one of my favorite mediums to use. I really like to do that. You can see like the drips kind of coming down from where the spider is, and it was all done with spray paint pretty much. And also of course my black my black paint pen and my black paint brush, but the color was all spray painted. And also one thing I want to add too is like how I was explaining that all my work is done physically first and then converted to digital. With this release, I have like over 100 different physical drawings of the different assets. So, for this picture in particular, for example, I have like the spider web asset drawing, I have her body drawing, I have the face drawing, and, that's 3 pages just right there. So what we're doing is 100 different holders of the project are going to be randomly selected, and they're going to just be mailed the physical assets. and we're going to do our best to like match up the assets with the NFTs that they own, so that way, they can have their physical, on the wall or whatever that matches their NFT that was used to create the NFT. So I think that's a pretty cool aspect as well.
Yeah, it's definitely something pretty awesome in the space. Like that's really cool. Have you thought about going to Las Vegas at all or anything like that?
For CNFT Con?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be attending in October, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be there. I'm excited. Looking forward to it.
Okay. Nice. Are you considering like selling some of your art there or doing a live piece?
Yeah, we're talking. I have my manager. He's I'm not sure if he's talking with them now or reaching out to them, but he was gonna talk with them about me possibly showing some of my physical artwork because it all kind of coincides, and I think that'd be kind of cool to bring there, kind of as something different. I think that a lot of people maybe won't be bringing because it is more of like an NFT thing. But yeah, I think that would be really cool. I'm super excited to be there. And if we still have, the different physical assets of this collection, we're also just going to be bringing those. And, for the people, of course, that are there that show me that they're a holder of humanity, I'm just going to give them one of the, physical assets for sure.
That's awesome, man. Do you have a favorite NFT, or are you invested in any NFTs?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say like out of this collection, I do have a favorite, and I actually have it right here on my phone. It's actually my background. I'll show you guys. It's this one. So it's the anxious individual with his head, exploding, and with the butterflies in the back, with the pink squiggly lines, and the crown. And I think it's just really cool. There's all these assets. He also has a red tie. He has a pink watch. So there's just a lot of different assets, and I just really like how it all, was layered together and, came out great, I think. But I also hold a bunch of NFTs from Angel Baby Hit Squad, which is my boy Fett's project, and I think I'm a holder of a few other projects. But to be honest with you, I really need to like get more into the space and start collecting. I've just been so focused on this project in particular, and like I also had a gallery show a few months ago in Mexico, actually. And then even further back in the year, I was showing at Art Basel in Miami. So it's just been a whirlwind, and I've been super busy, but I definitely want to start collecting more than I already have. So, yeah.
Well, for social media, do you record all of your travels? It doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I typically just like make little IG reels or IGTVs, or I also have like some YouTube videos up and stuff. It's not all like on my profile. Like if you click over to my reels or my IGTV, you'll see a lot more content. But what I frequently do just on the daily, on the regular, is just always making content of me just making my paintings and making different art. So you could see those all the time on my gallery page or on my TikTok or on my Instagram. So yeah.
What's the highest price item that you've ever sold?
Yeah, I had a commission recently go for 8,000, and that's the most that a physical commission. That's the highest I've ever sold a piece for.
Can I look it up? Is there a way to search it up?
Yeah, on my Instagram, my Instagram is just Charles Gitnick. Should be on there.
Space, no space.
No space.
Maybe I just
My last name is Gitnick. maybe you have that.
Gotcha. I'll bring it over so you can see what I'm doing, but it did not pop up.
Are you in the search bar up there?
Yeah, I was. No results. I did no space as well. I don't know what. Maybe I'm not familiar with Instagram. Is there a different way to search?
Maybe they deleted my account. No, I'm just kidding. I should be there. I don't know.
What about just regular Charles? How many Charleses? There's got to be a
Charles and then Gitnick.
Huh?
Try that. Try Charles and then Gitnick.
Yeah. No, it's not working.
I don't know.
Oh, well.
I can pull it up on my phone here.
Are you not safe for work?
This is the video on my account.
Oh, okay.
So there's a video of me making it, and it's for this mental health facility actually in Vegas, and so I kind of wanted to make it about looking at things from a different perspective, going through that door of going through that door of making yourself better, bettering yourself, and working towards that, and see with new eyes is kind of getting at
It seems like you're really good at drawing eyes. Now you have a tattoo of an eye.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. And what's the significance of that?
But actually, I think this is the first time I actually ever put like a just eyeball on one of my paintings. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But for me, this is actually my first tattoo. That's so funny you bring that up. But I just think it looks really pretty. I think it looks really cool. And this is actually also my mom's eye, and it has her birthday in it with Roman numerals. It's hard to tell. You could see the little Roman numerals in there.
Gotcha.
That's so cool. Dude, I was just gonna ask too, because I was just like, my brother and he came home. I hadn't seen my brother in a bit, and he started getting tattoos, and my parents were originally like super against it, but now he's got a few tattoos, so it's just like whatever,
Right.
And so we were joking around about getting a sleeve, just like really freak him out. And yeah, so I just wanted to know like how your parents thought about that. But then you were like, it's my mom's eye. It's got her birthday with the Roman numerals. I was like, damn.
Yeah, that was the first one I couldn't, get her to accept me, so I had to make it, about her or whatever. But since then I've kind of gone a little crazy and just gotten like my whole shit covered. But they all kind of like tell a story, and they all kind of like make up who I am as a person. And most of them I designed as well. Like this one right on my forearm came from one of my paintings as well. This skull with the bird and stuff. So, most of them came from right up here. So, that's, that's not a bad aspect of it. And, I don't know as far as my parents, I don't know what's with them, but they've been just like so supportive of me, like my whole life. You know what I mean? Like they just let me do me, so it's really cool. I think as long as I'm, staying focused and working hard and doing my thing, they're cool. So they like them, I think they're a little bit anxious about this one though, but it is what it is,
I was gonna say that is that fresh? That's fresh, right?
Yeah, I just got this like a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay.
I really like that one.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. Really nice. And you have a Banksy tattoo, is that correct?
Yeah. I love Banksy, and I think it was kind of like a self-portrait too. It's like a little kid with a bucket, with a paint bucket, and he's got the paint can. So I kind of thought that would be perfect. And then I also have a Basquiat quote right here, and it says, "Art is how we decorate space. Music is how we decorate time." And then it has, the crown down here for Basquiat. So yeah, I got, my two guys right there. And then I also have a Keith Haring tattoo down here. But yeah.
So you're just getting inked, bro. You are getting inked up.
I am, yeah. I think, I'll be covered, by one day soon, but I don't know. I look at it kind of like obviously a little more serious than just like a canvas, but it is kind of just like a canvas, you know. I mean, you know, different things that I want to be reminded, or I just don't want to let, you know, certain things go. I want them to be a piece of me forever. I want to die with them on my body, you know. So why not?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you ever thought about tattooing yourself?
I
Not
have.
like not tattooing yourself, but like tattooing, you know.
Whoa, tattooing. Yeah, I actually have thought both ways on that. I thought about doing myself too, which I've never done. Plenty of people have done that that I've met, and been like, "Yeah, man, I just go like on my leg, whatever." Like, and no one like cares. But for me, I think when I make it super big as an artist, then I'll start doing that for fun. You know what I mean? But for now, I'm too focused on, you know, what's gonna take me to the next level, you know? But I think for fun that would be really cool, and I'd definitely kill it. I'd be a great tattoo artist.
That's cool. So you do street art,
Yeah.
and um, that's awesome. Do you do anything like for fun besides art? Like, do you have a hobby?
I mean, you know, I really like art, you know, but yeah, of course but you know, I have other stuff too. I love, you know, hanging out with my friends. I like kicking it at the house, you know, watching movies and stuff, watching shows. I like working out. I worked out today. Um, I like I like weed, you know, that's something. But yeah, you know, art, to be honest with you, art really is like you know, if somebody asked me like what's your favorite thing in the world? Like it would be art. You know, everything else kind of just like keeps, you know, keeps my life full and whatnot, and keeps me busy with other things because you can't just do one thing forever. But um, you know, art really keeps my head on straight, and it's like a therapy for me, and it's like something that I can just do for hours and lose track of time, you know. So that's
What
definitely the thing.
What's your favorite form of art?
I mean, I think that's a great question, you know, because I really can appreciate like so many different, you know, aspects of art, even like dancing, and like, you know, even things that aren't, you know, creating a physical, you know, thing. But you know, I think probably my favorite would just have to be, I think probably the mediums that I'm creating myself, like painting, you know, digital art, NFTs. And I think one that I don't do yet, but I think that I am really interested in, is like sculpture work. I love to always look at, you know, different sculptures and stuff in the museums and stuff. But yeah, I'd say probably physical paintings, you know, NFT artwork, and sculptures. Those are probably my top three, I'd say.
What fuels you? In other words, like what are some things you like to eat in order to
Oh,
stay active in the art community?
yeah. I mean, I love food, man. I think, you know, I like, let's see, what comes to mind?
You said you like
Breakfast?
weed, so it can't be just like
Right.
snacks and shit. You know,
No, of
you,
course.
you
Of
gotta
course.
Oh,
have
I know you're
actual
about to lead him down
bro.
the pizza route too.
No, I think for me, you know, breakfast is probably my favorite meal of the day, you know. I always, you know, it's kind of a rule that I keep myself. I have to do a little bit of work before I stuff my face with food, you know. I have to, you know, push myself forward at in some way before I, you know, eat in the morning. But once I get to that breakfast, man, like I always just want to splurge on like pancakes. Like I always love to go crazy, man. And like, you know, other meals in the day, I can just finesse and do my thing and figure it out. But breakfast, I love to hit it hard, you know. Um, and you know, my favorite, you know, meals more specifically. It's a hard question. I mean, I love, you know, I love pancakes and eggs, like I just named. But, you know, if we're going to move away from the breakfast category, I'll say I love You know, I love like chicken. I love Mexican food, you know, like nachos, great. You know, guacamole is a great thing, you know. I think there's all types of stuff, you know. I can't even just narrow it down to one, you know.
Yeah, he's asking you about your food, and you're naming a bunch of great items, by the way,
Right,
but
yeah.
they're very high in, you know, cholesterol, so I'm wondering, alright, well, you work out, you like working out, but you also like really unhealthy food. So, are you working out to, like, get a nice figure, or are you working out just because you like to work out?
Well, for me, I'm in the bulking stage right now, you know. So I think, you know, you can kind of like, forgive me if I'm wrong, but you can kind of like stuff yourself while you're working out a lot if you're trying to like bulk up. And you can, of course, like take it too far, but like if you're young like me, I think it's okay, right?
Bro, I've been bulking for 15 years, bro. 15 years straight, I've been bulking, baby.
Uh,
We're
I
gonna
don't
start
know.
cutting and going
Maybe,
lean the
you
last
know,
20, right?
I'll tell you when I eat good is right after a workout. I always will have like chicken and rice and you know, just like kind of bland, like mainly always after a workout I have chicken and rice or, you know, something along those lines just to get that, you know, that protein, maybe a little bit of carbs, but yeah, man, on the regular, I'm not the healthiest, I wouldn't say. Yeah.
So, okay, not to get like too deep into this, right? Or whatever. Um, so the weed game out in California is notoriously crazy
Yeah,
good.
totally.
Now, are dispensaries the same price as like street level or
So what do you mean street level?
street like what you can get off of the street?
Man, he doesn't know about that, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like
Street
a
level?
drug, like you're saying like a drug dealer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with weed being legal here now, like I'm not even like of course I'm aware of, you know, people selling like more hardcore drugs and whatnot in Los Angeles, but I'm not really aware of like I mean, okay, sorry. I know that there are people that sell weed, I think, to like high school kids who can't go to a dispensary. You know what I mean? Um, and what I'll tell you is, from what I believe at least, the weed in the dispensaries is way more healthy. It's regulated, it's way more healthy than what somebody might be getting from some, you know, guy, obviously, you know? So, you know, I have a med card because I have really bad anxiety. And the weed actually helps a lot with that. So when I have really bad anxiety, I'll smoke a little bit and it'll help great. Um, and so I've always just gone into the, you know, dispensary since I've been 18, but um, they hit you with the heavy tax. Yeah, that's what
I
it
was
is.
I was just gonna ask you, dude, what is the tax rate?
Yeah, I don't, they hit you with like three different taxes. It's like LA sales tax, it's like fucking like medical tax, and then it's like city tax or something, you know what I mean? Like it's like three different ones. Um, but you know, I just budget it out, do my thing. I don't go too crazy. I'm not like a huge stoner, and in fact, I've been trying to tone it down a little bit because um, I don't want to be, you know, as an artist, I want my mind to be sharp, you know, because I'm always like, you know, all my ideas are coming from here, you know, so I can't just be like smoking my whole, you know, brain away. Um, and so, you know, I think sometimes when I'm creating, it's good, you know, maybe to smoke a little weed and maybe have a different mindset. And I think other times I think I have to be sober. That way I can, you know, see what the art would look like as well, you know, being sober. And, you know, that's something I had to, you know, figure out a couple years ago. Um, you know, I realized I don't want to be like stoned all the time when I'm making art, you know, I just can't, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, I relate with that as well. I smoked a lot back in my day, and you know, every once in a while, still, you know, it is what
Yeah.
it is. But yeah, I mean, you know, when I was younger, I would do it a little bit, and I would feel like completely normal. Like, obviously, I know I'm high, but like, you know, you can still have the same thoughts. You still are the same person. You're not like
Mm,
more aggressive or anything. Maybe more calm, maybe tired, whatever.
Right.
But I've definitely seen some of my friends fall into the trap of like, oh, we're gonna go see a movie, like I need to be high. Like, oh, we're gonna play video games, I need to be high.
Right.
And I like that you said that you need to have a clear mind, because it actually didn't take me until later on in my life realizing that actually being sober the majority of the time is way more beneficial for literally everything, even just basic conversations.
Right. 100%, man. And, weed also, it'll take everything from you, like your personality, your ambition, your discipline. It'll take it all, So you just got to be in control. That's really the way to do it. And, growing up, that's another thing about my parents is they always made that really clear to me with weed and just substances overall. They always made that statement of, you have to be the one in control. It can't control you, So, yeah.
That's cool. He sounds like he has all-star parents.
Yeah, my parents are great parents. That's something I should have started out with, is I was blessed from the jump with, the best parents somebody could be given, which is amazing.
Yeah. There's some days where I feel like my parents shouldn't have had parents or kids, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh man,
Yeah.
Some of the decisions, other things like that. Like I think there's something inherent with moms is generally they are 9 times out of 10 very supportive
Mm-hmm.
of what you do because you're their baby.
Yeah,
But like,
I
you know what I
agree.
mean?
So,
So mothers are pretty much angels most of the time. I will say that. But when they don't get their way, like when you do the first, no, I'm not going to do that, mom. They're like, what?
yeah.
And it's like mutiny. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. But yeah. What so what do you think with the NFT space being the way it is, do you feel like now kind of artists are getting more pushed to the forefront and getting kind of the light shown on them that they needed to?
Yeah, I love that you asked this question. I think what's so special about the NFT space and, what's so special that this whole thing, just happened overall is that I think it's going to make it more possible for people like me, like young, even people that aren't young kids like me, but, I think young kids like me and older people and anybody who wants to pursue art. And, I think there would be other aspects as well that, this space will be used for. But I think, for one, art will be a big piece of it. And I think that's just a huge blessing. I think, in its simplest form, it can really be, another way for artists to support themselves and another way for people to support artists, and for artists to express themselves. And, it's a whole new medium. And, I think for all those reasons, it's amazing. And I totally think it's, adding more exposure to artists, like you mentioned. And, it's done so for me for sure. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see where the space goes for sure. Having seen, places like Sotheby's and Christie's, which are, the real companies that run the art world as far as the the commerce side of it, like they do their auctions and they sell Warhols and Basquiat's, and they really set those records. Like I think just recently they set a record with a Warhol that sold for like 111 million. It was like the most a painting ever sold for, I think, in history or something like that. But they really set those records, and they've already accepted NFTs and the NFT space with open arms and written about it and done different things with it. So I think that on its own really shows a lot for the space, moving forward, that these massive companies that run the art world are accepting them,
Now, I think somebody is working to fractionalize a Warhol painting and bring it into the Cardano NFT space.
I think I heard about that too.
Yes, which is
in the Cardano space. I didn't know about that.
Yes.
Wow.
Fractionalizing it. Yeah, so it'd be kind of it'd be kind of crazy,
It'd be amazing. I'd love to get a piece.
A piece of it, yeah.
That'd be
It's like,
sick.
I own the left earlobe. Like, you
I
know what I
wonder if
mean?
you
Like,
even know like what piece you own, or if
yeah.
it's just like you just own a piece and they just say you own a piece, and the NFT is just the whole Warhol. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah. It
they
would
like.
be cool if they did like a grid system, kind of like Battleship, like
I think
1A.
it would be cool. Totally. I think it
Yeah.
would be. Yeah. I don't know if they're gonna like release, because you don't know. I mean, at least how I think about it is, who knows if Andy like wanted it that way, you know? So like that's why I would hold back from that. But like, I don't know. I think it would be
It's rough saying, but I think like the people who run his estate might like it.
right.
You know what I
Totally,
mean?
totally.
You know, so they'll be
And
like,
that's who,
eh,
that's who it's up to, and
right.
and that's who it deserves to be up to. So you know,
So the coolest thing is like, I think with Bob Ross, because everybody knows Bob Ross, dude, but
yeah,
he was,
totally
bro,
legend.
he's a hometown hero here because I live in Indiana.
Okay,
You know what I mean? And so this is where he's from.
yeah,
And so, dude, Bob Ross never made any money off his paintings.
I know. I watched a whole documentary about it.
Donated it. It's crazy. I
Not
think
even that. Did you hear about how this company kind of screwed him over too?
PBS. Yeah, because they auctioned off his stuff, right?
But
To keep it
also,
going.
the people who first got him on TV, this family, they somehow got him to sign this deal that gives the rights over to them to create merchandising and all this stuff. Bob Ross paintbrushes, Bob Ross paint, Bob Ross all this, and of course they make millions off that, but he didn't get a dime, I don't think, which is so sad because he was such a nice guy, a great guy. But
That's an absolute shame.
that's the story of like so many, or that's the so many stories throughout history is different artists kind of getting screwed over and whatnot. And I think that's another great thing about the NFT space too, is it's making it more possible for uh people out there to just create art and release it to the world without needing anybody. You know what I mean? You can figure out how to drop your own NFTs and just drop them. And so maybe back in the day of Picasso and Warhol and Pollock and all these guys, like it was probably easier to meet an artist and maybe screw him over a little bit. I don't.
Yeah. I actually wanted to ask you a little slightly different topic, but when he brought up crypto and everything, I thought the route he was going to take was actually how we're on this massive bear market. And I wanted to ask you, I know you're
Yeah.
pretty young, but have you set aside any money for investing?
I mean, I think I with my manager, we've been talking about that for a while. Me investing in property or something. As I get older, but for right now, I'm just kind of really focused on building out my career and building something strong enough to where, this is really something that's, really building that strong foundation for me to, move up through my 20s, with a strong, career foundation. So, I think I'll get there into that, investing time. I've done, a little bit of investing in different, like I invested in a clothing brand, and I help handle their social media and their distribution and stuff. And with the investment, that helped them, produce the merchandise that, they sell, and that brand is super cool. You can check it out. It's Homesick New York, and they're also on like a bunch of different rappers, and it's a super cool company. But other than that, I haven't done too much of that. It's been really me just being focused on my work. And oh
Is this it right here? Homesick.com?
no, it would be try just searching Homesick NY clothing. I think then it would come up. Yeah,
Homesick New York? Okay.
there we go. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I
it.
see.
Yeah, it's a great brand. But I think, like I mentioned, I really just want to start collecting more in the NFT space. I have a lot of physical art that I've collected. Like I own a Damien Hirst signed print. I own a Shepard Fairey signed print. I actually own two Shepard Fairey signed prints. And I really like collecting physical art. I have a few other paintings from other artists that aren't as famous as those guys, but just that I really enjoyed. And that's just been over the years as me, as I've been growing up and whatnot and saving my own money and stuff. So yeah, I can't wait honestly to get much more into the NFT collecting side because I've just been so much on the creation side. So
Yeah, dude, I gotta keep talking to you, man, because you're making my inner heart just like beat really fast. Like I want you to be invested so badly. I don't care what your age is. Like I want everybody invested in some way,
yeah,
either into stocks or crypto, because dude, you're so young. Like and I know I sound like everybody out there, but like $100 right now, or even $200, like now for you, like
yeah,
scale out 40 years, you have no idea what that could turn into depending on
yeah,
which company or which crypto you put it into. So
totally.
like it doesn't have to be a lot of money. Just start small.
Word.
But that's all I'm gonna say on it. I don't want to nag you.
No, for sure. Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, I'm always interested in, learning about stocks. My manager is really great about, stocks and stuff. And, he's always working to like teach me about stuff. But, it's hard. I'm an artist, what really comes naturally for me is the creativity, not the graphs and the charts and shit.
Yeah. No,
But
the way I see it though is just like you're freeing up your time by
totally,
making this money. You know what I mean?
totally, exactly. Money really allows you to have that flexibility, exactly. And also it's gonna allow me to make, cooler art, if I have more money, right? Because I can pour tons of money into a sick project and all this whole thing, and I don't even care if it sells because I just am rich, right? And um, but yeah, I'm definitely interested in learning about all that. I'm really like a nerd, I really love to like learn about anything. Like I love to watch videos on like history stuff and really just I love to, fill my brain up with different shit. So
So so Mads had a pretty good question. Okay, mine's more focused on the PFP sort of stuff. Like as more of like a finer artist, I guess you would say.
mhm.
What do you think about the profile picture, uh, like art? I guess you would say, in their spot, like in the NFT spotlight. You know what I
To be
mean?
honest with you, I think it's really cool that, people are putting the whole profile picture thing, I think I love that that's a whole trend because I think it's making like art cooler in our society. Um, for so long, I think like, and even right now, the real like for millennials and young people like me, like uh, my age and below, music is really like the main art form that a lot of kids are into, right? And you know, they want to know everything about these people that make music, and they want to listen to every new thing that drops right when it comes out. And I think art is something that's kind of for more mature kind of audiences. Like when people start to get older, maybe they get their first house, their first apartment, then they want to get a painting or something. And you don't really see like young kids like into that. And I think with the whole profile picture thing and everything, that's really cool because it's like I said, it's adding that that piece to society. I think that art wasn't in. I think art was kind of maybe on the back burner a little bit for young people in our society. And I think in the future now, maybe 10, 20 years into the future, it's going to be like young kids like that with their profile pictures, I think, as their collectibles. So I think that'll be sick. And also, I see she was just asking a question too about rug pulls. And she said some project teams or leads running off a six figure ADA and screwing over their communities. I think you know, what's upsetting is that's going to create a bad name for the NFT community overall. And, when that happens, if that happens too much, then the popularity for NFTs in general is just going to go down because people are going to be like, oh, I got screwed over or whatever. Um, so I think that really hurts the space for people like me who are actually, devoting their life to art. Right? This takes dedication. It doesn't even take just discipline or um, anything like that. It's dedication. Like you have to be dedicated for this. And so, um, I think the people that aren't dedicated, that are just like, I want, like you say, 100K or six-figure ADA, it's just like super lame, man. Like, go, build a company, work on a brand, do something, or, release your NFT project and, you know, continue building it up, and you can continue making money. But I think, dropping the project, running off with a bunch of bread, it's just super lame. You just call that a scam. It's just a scam, which sucks because, back to my main point, that it really just puts a bad name on the NFT space overall, so.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's only so much that we can do as a community too, but there are some implementations I think that are in the works. Like we saw TED Nation, they had this other company, which I'm forgetting the name of it, but they can verify who you are without actually showing the world who you are. So
Mm,
it's interesting because you're basically giving your information to one company and trusting them, and
right.
everybody else is also trusting them that you are who you say you are.
Hmm.
But and then they call that doxed or
Right.
whatever they want to call it, but you don't actually know who that person is. You just
Right.
know that they've said they are somebody and this company has agreed to that.
Right.
So, we're still trying to figure out all the complexities of NFTs and
And
the
that's
internet.
something that's also interesting to me, is like, unless it's someone like Banksy or something, like, why is somebody trying to stay extremely anonymous? Like, I mean, I understand maybe you want the art to just speak for itself. You don't want to be attached to it at all. I understand all that. Um, but for me, if it's going to add clarification for your holders, telling your holders who you are, who your team is, that's what I did for my humanity project. I think that's a really important thing, making your holders feel, like you can be trusted and whatnot. Like they're really buying into something that's going to be, taken seriously. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know some of the reasons for people not wanting to like show their faces. I've talked with some people and they're like, yeah, like if we mess up, we don't want any death threats. I don't want anybody threatening my family. I don't want this. I don't want that.
But what
And
does it mean if we mess up? In what way?
uh, I don't know. Let's say they have a deadline, right? And they just miss
Mm,
the deadline. Let's say
I
they
see.
promise XYZ, and then legal ramifications come through and they find out, okay,
Understood.
we can't actually do that. Then just anything.
Yeah.
Kind of blanket statement there, but
Yeah.
it makes sense, but at the same time, if you're going to make a real business, right, you're going to have to go in front of an audience of people and try to sell them something. And if you mess up what you give them, then you're, subject to all the same things.
Totally.
So I still don't really sympathize with that 100%. Like you
Yeah.
are who you are. Yes, you can get shot anywhere you go. Yes, you can be threatened anywhere you go. Like it is
Yeah.
what it is. You got to figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think as the space gets more, like, I think as, we continue to, go through time, with the space, I think it's going to continue to, like, I think people and holders are, and collectors, I think they're going to look for credibility, in projects. And, I think they're going to look for what the actual goal of the project is. If they're, pushing, real truth, like, um, if, if the project is original. I think all of these things are important aspects of projects, I think, moving forward. Um, at least for me, they were. So.
Yeah, I like it, but it's kind of going down the route of like you used to have an interview to get a job, and then out came Uber, and you used to have to do like so many things, and now you don't even have to go through any of the legal stuff really, depending on what country you live in, to start up an NFT project,
Right.
and you can start up a project and fail and still leave with a profit if you're a jerk about it or if you're slightly selfish,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a broken system if you think about it. We want decentralization so badly, and this is what comes with it, though.
Yeah.
So, I'm not against it at all. It's just one of those things I'm aware of, and I'm not sure my exact stance on how, everything needs to be played out to try to find a balance.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I'm the same with you, man. Same here.
To be fair, people will send you death threats if the floor goes too low. So
Yeah,
You know, like, why are we doing the floor, baby? It's
Yeah,
like,
devs,
I was
dude.
hoping honestly he would say that, and then I was just gonna say like, I can't do it. You know, you can't do any like you did. You know, I think what matters is working, caring about that artwork. You know, as an artist at least, and if the floor goes, fuck man. I mean, it sucks, but I just pray that doesn't happen with good old humanity CG.
that's not. I think
The
that's
art's
not
too
the
good
point,
for that, man.
right? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I think the people buying in know that that's not the point of it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
It is.
So,
You're right.
so as like a finer artist or whatever inside
Mhm.
the space, have you spoken to a lot of artists in the CNFT space? If so, like who have you spoken to before?
Yeah, totally. I mean, all the artists that I've collaborated with, like you were mentioning, Chatty and Glass, and all those guys, and I've hung out with Fett in person before as well, and but other than the people I've collaborated with, and I've been I've hung out also with a few. I just remembered with a few ETH artists as well, ETH NFT artists as well. But other than that, it hasn't been too much. That's why I'm really looking forward to CNFT Con to really like put more faces to the names and whatnot, and really be like in person, hanging out with people. Because I've never gone to any convention or anything like that for the NFT space, so that'll be really cool.
No, you can't do the drinking and stuff
True.
while you're there.
True.
Okay.
I'm only 20, so
Right.
yeah.
So we gotta
I'm only a
get
year
a big
away.
ID. All right.
Yeah, which I'm super lame, but I never even got one of those.
Are you man, you live in California. I just figured everybody out there was loose. There were no rules out there. Like you could get any sort of shady backhanded deal.
No,
right
I mean,
around the corner.
I could probably get a fake ID if I like worked really hard for it, but
Like a
just,
McLovin or something.
partying also has never been like a huge thing that I've loved. I like to hang out with people and all that stuff and have a good time, but like I was mentioning, I kind of really like to like watch movies and chill at the house, and all that type of stuff is kind of my favorite.
I got you. Now, if I hand you some money in Vegas and I tell you to go pull a slot machine, will you do it?
I mean, I would probably ask you right after that, like how much trouble would I get in if I did it? You know what
If
I
you
mean?
hit a jackpot, dude, like that's the thing. If you hit a
But then they're not
jackpot,
gonna give me the jackpot because I'm too.
yeah.
Wait, but isn't gambling? Forgive me. No, sorry. At some places it's 18, not in Vegas though.
Not in
Here
Vegas.
in California, there's actually a bunch of casinos that I can gamble at, and I've actually gambled, before. So.
Oh wow.
Nice. You'd have to step in as his dad cleanup. You'd have to be like, hey,
whoa.
I told him to pull it. It was his
Yeah.
first time in a casino. I'm sorry, man. I just wanted him to have the thrill.
Just like, come on, give me something.
Yeah, that would be major.
Yeah. No, just paying him something real quick. Just make here you go. This is for the jackpot. Thank you. A little bit of bribe, but you like watching movies. What's some of your favorite movies?
I mean, I have a bunch. I'd say my favorite movie of all time, I'd say, is Wolf of Wall Street. I'd probably say it's a great movie.
Wolf of Wall Street, and he's not invested in anything.
I mean, I'm invested in my own career.
That's true.
Definitely put my own money into that, but
yeah,
you're right. And I think I have a few others. I'd probably say like another DiCaprio, Inception was great. And let's see, what else do I like? I really like movies about stories of like Creed was great, like those type of stories, like triumphant, nothing from nothing into something type shit. I love those.
I got you. So if we were creating a movie about your life, right?
Yeah, I'll show you me on Venice Beach selling my art for $20.
Right.
And
what would be a funny, embarrassing story that we would cover
in the movie. It's a great question.
See, now you have to paint your picture with words.
I think I think there's been a few art shows where I've been there all day and I fall asleep at the end. I don't know if that's super funny, but I'll just crash. I'm asleep at the show on the floor,
Bro, so that would be the running gag. The running gag would be, yeah, but he falls asleep after every show.
Yeah, he doesn't even prepare. Yeah, he just falls asleep. That's good.
Bro, imagine him being like 11, tucked away with a blanket on him.
That's what I'm saying. I was like a young kid, like
here's my art, and some person, some smug bastard's like, I want to buy that piece, and he's pointing at you on the floor or something.
That actually reminds me. It was like me, my mom, and like one of her friends. We went out to do Black Friday shopping, and so it was super late. And I decided like last minute I would go with them. And so my mom goes into like one of the stores, and her friend like steps outside to like smoke a cigarette, and he's like, "Make sure I can come back in," because the mall door is locked from the outside because it was like 4 a.m. So he like steps outside for a minute, and I just crashed. I just fell asleep, like right in the middle of the mall. Like I just fell asleep. Wow. And I wake up like 20-30 minutes later, and he's like freezing, like knocking at the door, just like trying to get me to come up. And my mom, my mom she woke me up because she had come back out, and she's like, "What the hell? Like he's freezing." And I was like, "What?" I like still waking up. I felt so bad.
That's hilarious. A lot of shopping going on for you, right?
No. It was just late, man. Like my mom's a shopper, man. You get her a little coffee, and she'll shop forever.
That's it.
That's you, bro. Same here for sure. My mom does it online though. She'll just chill on her iPad just for hours.
Just Amazon.
Yeah,
Amazon, man. Amazon all day, every day.
What's with like females and Amazon? I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. For me, it's great too. I didn't even mean to just say females. As a matter of fact, I'll cruise on there, pick a few things, boom, boom, boom.
That's it.
Yeah, it's on the way.
But like,
did you guys grab anything for Amazon Day?
No.
That's a great question. I didn't. Yeah, I was thinking about it though. It came through my mind. I was like, do I need anything? But I just got that like I just told you guys, I got that camera recently, and I was looking on Amazon if they had it, but can you believe they actually didn't? It was just their own company, this special vintage camera, but
yeah, no, I think Amazon actually had their worst Amazon day, or their worst quarter I know came up in growth. Yeah, they had their worst year. I think it was year over year growth, or quarter over quarter, something like that, since the company had started.
Wow.
So yeah, that's how great of a situation our economy's in.
Yeah.
So I think like with that, I mean, some of your stuff is very prevalent, obviously, today with administrations and political views and other things like that. With the economy being the way it is, like dealing with mental health and dealing with, ending gun violence and other things like that, ending violence in general is like a good message. What do you think? What's something that we might be able to do to circumvent this sort of stuff? You know what I mean? From happening. Like, do you think there's
I mean, for me, I think, the answer to that question for me is honestly, I don't entirely know, for me, like how I've always looked at it is like people, we'll see these horrific events go on, like what just happened in Texas. And there's been a bunch since then even. And we'll see these things happen, and it's maybe starting to change now, but for so long while I was growing up, especially, or that's how I know, something would happen really horrible, tragic. People would talk about it. It would be on social media, whatever. And then like a day would go by or a week or whatever, not that long a time. And then everything would go back to normal. Nobody talks about it anymore and it's not really a big deal. And it's like we're all like back to normal, and I think it's only maybe now, and like I don't even know for sure. That's why I say maybe, like getting to a point where people are really starting to like say we need to change stuff, and that it's really getting to a place of just like where it just doesn't make any sense at this point. Like what's happening in our country, that makes us the worst country. We can be the best in so many different ways, but since that's happening in our country, like, and that's not happening anywhere else, like that makes us at the bottom of the fucking barrel. You know what I mean? So maybe now, we're starting to realize, that something needs to change. And I don't entirely know what that is, if it's making laws about, high powered automatic rifles, or if it's has to do more on the mental health side, and, making healthcare and therapy and things like that more widely available for people that are, going through problems like that. I don't entirely know, at this point, I am, just a 20-year-old kid, but I think how I always, going back to how I always viewed it, it was just like I can do my part with making the artwork and, creating a conversation that people can, go through when a shooting maybe hasn't even happened, but my art can cause the conversation, instead of, a shooting happens and we go back to normal a week later, like now they see my painting and, then we're talking about it and it's becoming something. And, that's always kind of been my goal with it. So that's kind of my answer to your question.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm kind of torn on, what the right answer is too. And I'm 38, so don't feel bad. You know what I mean? I've seen just about everything, man. From Columbine to Oklahoma City bombing,
Right.
9/11, stuff like that, And the thing is that, for stories that we hear about where, there's a mass shooting and something happens, which a mass shooting is like what? It's like 4 people, right?
Yeah,
As
something
of right now,
so.
where 4 people are affected.
Right.
Or shooting in a mass area, I guess you would say, like area with a lot of people, a lot of could be casualty count.
Mhm.
But like there was a shooting in the Greenwood Park Mall down south, like maybe an hour and a half from where I live, right? And it was stopped by somebody who had a gun. He ended up shooting the actual shooter. And so, I don't know what the right answer is.
Right. And that's something too that it's always been important to me to make it clear that I'm not, just against guns. Like, I'm just against, walking into a school and shooting a bunch of kids, or a movie theater or a mall or anything like that. It's just like, of course, we all have the right to protect ourselves, the Second Amendment, everything like that. But, there's just like there's a line that can't be crossed,
Right.
Did any of that violence with guns and seeing that happen in schools, was any of that some of the effect and like reasoning behind you wanting to do more private schooling type of events?
What do you mean? Private schooling, like
you said most of your classes were kind of one-on-one.
Right. No, I mean that's not the reasoning why I wanted to. I just for me, I just, I was really ambitious as a young kid, and I wanted to, get as busy as I could as an artist and as a person in the world, doing what I was doing. And so, I was quickly realizing that as I'd travel and as I'd, be focused on my career, I'd get super behind in school. And then I'd have to like catch up, and I'd have to like look at the past work while learning the new work. And I'd work really hard to get A's, and then I'd travel and I'd get all F's because the teachers would put in my assignments as zeros until I came back and fixed them. Right. And so it was just a mess for that semester, and as I got busier and busier, even, before that semester, just leading up, it was just always a struggle. So that was really just a goal for me, for myself, to get, as a mark of busyness and, kind of like success, I guess. But I did, however, going to school for, when I was young and when I started to see all these things happen, I remember all the time. Yeah, I remember, all the time thinking about, what I'd do if there was a shooter, and how I'd handle that, where I'd go and whatnot. And I remember even thinking that like really young, like 6th grade, 5th grade. And I just don't think I'm sure tons of kids are thinking that right now, and I don't think any kid should be.
Bro, my kids' school does active shooter drills.
Right.
It's not
Exactly.
something that I want them to do.
Right.
You know what I'm
Exactly. It's
saying?
like shouldn't even
It's
be
kinda
a
weird.
thing that we have to worry about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they kind of have to do it though because of the
Right.
situation we're in.
No,
Right?
you're right. It's I'm not faulting them, but it's just like it's horrible that we even have to do that.
Right. And so it's like, me as a parent, I'm like, dude, I don't want that.
Yeah.
But I also don't want a cop roaming the halls, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
It just
I don't know.
depends, like, because I
In
was
an
thinking,
elementary school, you know what
yeah,
I'm saying? High school, go
it's
for it, bro. Like,
it's
have
so
it.
hard, bro. It's so hard because while Charles was talking about like how he doesn't know the exact answer, I was like, okay, well, what if I had to think about it, right? Like, because it's a hard decision, it's a hard question. There is no right or wrong or like perfect answer, but when you were talking about mental health illness and how that ties in, yeah, a lot more people who are depressed or being made fun of or whatever it may be are
Right.
the ones more likely to give up their lives than other people's because they don't value it. They
Right.
don't
And
think
also, it's like they want to like, it's common, I think especially with the, Uvalde shooting, like it's really horrible to think, but it's like they want to show the world like how angry they are, or how, they want to do something that's so off-putting, that's why they target children, they want to do something that's so like just like cutting,
yeah. And that was kind of where I was getting to too, is that like, clean up. The first thing you said was, the shooting in the mall was stopped by another person with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I was talking to my brother about this, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna, be having a podcast tonight, and these are some of the topics that are probably gonna come up. And he was like, well, you can't get rid of all guns. And I was like, well, there's that funny South Park episode, right, where they all have guns and then there's no violence because one person pulls a gun and then everybody pulls their gun and everybody else, and everybody's just like, okay, calm down, we're good,
Yeah.
and but because
I
like,
think,
sorry, go on.
no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You're good.
No,
You
you're
carry
good.
a gun in the Midwest, man. It's like you don't do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not necessarily like, I feel safe when I go out just because I know that a lot of people are here are like avid hunters, or
Yeah.
we do have like you can conceal carry or whatever.
Right.
So
And
that
the problem definitely isn't like that. I mean, sorry, the answer definitely isn't just banning all guns, right? Because then there's going to be a big underground market, and you're still going to be able to do ghost guns, if you guys are familiar with that, which is ordering, the parts online and building it. And so, yeah, we just have to like figure out a way that's going to work, that's going to prevent what's, the trajectory that we're on now.
Yeah. Yeah, I really don't think there's going to be a way to stop it, but I do think that there could be and is a way to slow it down and progressively make it lower.
Mhm.
I think mental health is definitely one of the things that we need to focus on more. I know a lot of people are focusing on it more and more. Even projects have like their own pages or sections in their Discord where you can talk about your whatever. There's free helplines now. There's more and more drugs coming out. Like there is a larger focus on it.
Right.
But it's still this cliche thing that like a lot of males are just like, I can figure it out, I'm fine, and even women are just like, that makes me look a certain way, or I don't like it,
Yeah,
whatever,
totally.
but
100%.
more and more we need to start dealing with these things because society isn't what it used to be. You know, like we used to not have our phones. We used to go outside and I'm bored, I'm depressed, so I'm going to go to my friend's house. I'm going to talk to him about it. We don't do that now. We just hit up our phones and we're like, oh, how can I ignore it? Like I'll go play Call of Duty. You know, that'll be fine. I'll do that for 10 years and then realize I'm super fucked when I'm in my 30s.
That's something we kind of like. There's so many distractions and things in this world that we can. There's so many different outlets that we could just sink ourselves into, you know, and it can be like an abyss.
100%, man. I fall into a lot of the traps myself, just throwing it out there. You know, I play video games when I don't want to think, you know, sometimes I smoke a little weed, sometimes I watch movies, you know, I use all these distractions and that's just not the way. And, you know, I'm almost 30, so I'm trying to get away from all my old habits. And really, whenever I start to feel a certain way, whether it's negative or positive, I try to like really think about what it is and either keep that or learn from it to try to, you know, adjust in the future in a more healthy way.
Yeah. That sounds, you know, really mature of you, man. And I think that's the right way to be, you know, that really is.
I appreciate it, man. It's something I think everybody has to deal with, you know, and we can go down the whole psychedelic trip, you know, and how that helped. But, you know, I don't know, like I'm not advocating for any of it, but if you do have some illnesses or whatever, and it's legal wherever you are, maybe you should look into it is all I'm saying.
Yeah. I have heard a lot about, you know, different psychedelics and stuff helping a lot with, you know, mental health issues. I've never, you know, had any experiences like that, but you know, I'd love to look into it as well. You know,
it's just a big boost in serotonin, man.
Right.
And like you're having a good time. You're just chilling. Like, you know, it's not everything like as scary as people make it sound. It's like more of like you get in your head. I don't know how to explain it more than that, but I feel like in some sort of level, like you can actually feel your brain working. I don't know how it works or you're deconstructing it, right?
For me, it's like you're playing a game in first person and then all of a sudden you're in third person.
Right.
Like you can see you can see what you do, you can see what other people do, but like it all makes sense and has like a larger understanding on like a larger scale, which doesn't make sense. Like you would think that like, oh yeah, I've had those thoughts while high. It's like, yes, you have probably, right? Or drunk, whatever it may be. But when you're actually on a psychedelic, there's no way to describe it, but like you actually do have like a higher sense of either emotional intelligence or just like a connection with people and Earth is much deeper.
Sure. I know what you're saying for sure. Yeah, I understand that. That makes sense.
Yeah, and definitely not advocating.
I think substances. I think it's, you know, different substances and whatnot. You know, they all act differently, of course, but like I think, you know, they all like open you up to a sense. You know, so I think, you know, that's, you know, what you're saying, that does relate. You know.
So this is something that I want to talk about, and I think this is an addictive substance for sure. It's like one of the worst things ever, but it's also like part of our society now, and that would be social media. So you have a social media presence, obviously, on Instagram. Now, I am more of a YouTube guy myself. Okay, so I saw that you did some paintings for people in the FaZe clan. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What was that like, going to the FaZe house and like seeing those guys and stuff like that? You know,
it was awesome. It was so cool. You know, that was a super cool experience. That was, you know, I was a little bit younger back then. It was a few years ago. So it was one of those experiences where I'm like, wow, I can't believe my art, you know, has taken me here, you know? And it was a super exciting day. All those guys were super cool, super nice. I still talk to them sometimes just randomly on Instagram. But it was really cool checking out the house, you know, bringing over the paintings and, you know, just that validation, you know, whenever people, you know, support your work and support the message and all of that, it just, you know, it makes you feel good as an artist. And it makes you feel like you're doing the right thing, you know, like I'm on the right track, I'm on the right path. These big guys are supporting me. Like, I'm like, okay, I can keep going. I can keep doing this, you know, because there's always that sense of uncertainty, you know, as an artist. And I think as any, you know, type of person, I think entrepreneur, there's always like uncertainty, you know, you don't know if things are going to work out, how things are going to go. And so, you know, me kind of starting out my adult, you know, my young adult life, choosing this career path, it's, you know, it can be scary sometimes, you know, but whenever things like that happen, it kind of re-amplifies that feeling that I'm on the right path. So
I gotcha. Have you worked with anybody else? Like, has anybody else noticed like a bigger name?
yeah, totally. I've had aside from like the social media like FaZe Clan side, I've been able to sell my paintings to a bunch of famous you know, rappers and, you know, like music people. So I sold a couple paintings to Gunna, and I sold a couple pieces as well to Blueface, the rapper, and I also sold a couple to, maybe you guys won't recognize this name, but he's a younger guy. His name's Ian Dior, and let me think who else. Lil Dicky was one that I got a painting to as well, and yeah, I think I'm probably forgetting someone, but it's been an amazing journey. You know, meeting those guys every single time, like I was explaining, it's kind of that feeling that I'm on the right path. And honestly, anytime, you know, people support my work, buy a painting, buy an NFT, anything like that, even just a tweet telling me I'm an amazing artist, or, you know, anything along those lines, it all, you know, at a certain level, gives me that feeling that I'm doing the right thing. So
Did you ever have like really cool conversations with any of them? Like, did they give you any like advice, or were they just kind of cool? Like showing up with Gunna, was he just like, "Yo, your art's dope, peace," you know,
yeah.
or was he just kind of like, "Yo, man, you're gonna go far."
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, most of the guys were kind of like that way that you're explaining, kind of like cool and kind of chill. They were all super nice. Gunna was extremely nice, but the one who really stands out was Blueface. I went over to his house and no one was there. Typically, like when you meet one of these guys, like there will be other people around, and no one was there. And he was like, "You guys smoke weed?" And you know, we were like, "Yeah," because I brought my brother, and he was like, "Ben, sit down. Like, I'll roll you a blunt." And he starts rolling us blunts. And, you know, then he's just like showing us funny videos in his living room. And, you know, we ended up hanging out there for a couple of hours. He was like, I remember him saying, he was like, "You guys are my entertainment for today. I don't have anything going on." So that was a great memory. That was cool. So,
Shit. So what does your brother do?
yeah, my brother, he's more on the entrepreneurial side. He works for a company that he also owns partially, and he works with social media influencers on partnering them with different brands, and you know, partnerships like that, and you know, bringing them deals from those brands. So we call them brand deals. So yeah.
I got you. Awesome. Now he was a basketball player. Is that correct? Like he could hoop?
Yeah. How do you know?
I don't know. So anyway,
Yeah, my brother, he, you know, growing up, he played a lot of basketball. Yeah.
yeah. What is more likely to happen?
Okay.
You beat him one-on-one in basketball, or he beats you in an art competition?
Well, who's judging the art competition?
Just general public. Just general
General
public.
public.
Okay.
I think, damn. To be honest with you, I think art, I'll tell you, I think he has a higher chance.
Don't take the L. Don't take the L.
No,
Don't
I'm
take
gonna,
the L.
but I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, because I think he has a higher chance at beating me because in an art competition, because I think art is not entirely based off of skill. I don't think it's even mainly based off of skill. I think it's based off of creativity and you know, kind of messing around and trying different stuff and kind of exploring, you know. And basketball is more skill based, and you know, I'm trash, bro. Like I literally, like my brother could school me any day. Like he'll just like he would, if he wanted me to score, I could score. You know, that would be my brother. But not to say even, you know, that he could be me in an art competition, but you know, I think for that reason of the skill side, I think he has a chance.
Did you play any sports growing up?
Yeah, I did. I tried out different sports and stuff when I was young, but I just always found myself running back into my art studio after I was done and wanting to do that. And even like my brother would have basketball games, and I'd just bring my notebook and just draw while I was there and not even watch the game. Like it was just clear to my parents that I was always interested in artwork over sports. So after a while, I think, you know, they wanted me to be in it for, you know, making friends and being a kid and stuff. But after a while, I just stopped.
Yeah, I understand that. I was, you know, into indoor things more as well. Not necessarily productive. I liked playing, I was addicted to Yu-Gi-Oh when I was younger.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I mean,
I
I'll tell
loved,
you, I had a good like 6 months where I was totally addicted to GTA. When
oh, nice.
GTA 5 came out, oof, I was like addicted, man. I couldn't get off that thing.
Yeah, my dad forced me to play soccer because I was just like, oh, I don't like want to play a sport, and he was like, you know, well, you got to play a sport, and I lived in Massachusetts, so like I would always wait for the snow to come around, and I'd be like, look, it's snowing, I can't play, and he'd be like, no, you can play in the snow, like get your snow boots, and I was like, damn it, but I always just liked being in my room and like creating like more decks, like I'd create like a water deck for Yu-Gi-Oh and then like an insect deck, and I would just do that all day, just create different decks.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think, you know, like, you know, when you're a kid, you always like figure out what you're into, and you know, your parents, not even anything being wrong with them, but they just want you to make friends and be like, you know, social, and I think that kind of adds to becoming a full person, you know. But I think that piece of figuring out what you really like as a kid and shit is like magical, you know. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I am so glad my parents forced me to do sports because I became
Yeah,
pretty good at them. And then once I became good at something, it actually instilled like some confidence that I didn't have
yeah,
before.
totally, totally.
Yeah. And like listening to a coach and trusting your teammates, like a
Mhm,
lot of those skills you don't pick up on until you're older and you realize other people don't have them.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you have pot of greed?
Dude, I had a lot of good cards. I did have Pot of Greed. I
Oh,
did. It wasn't
Awesome.
banned within our friend group though. But I was the youngest kid in the friend group. They were all bigger brain than me and older with more money and bigger decks. And they would only let me play if I put up a card that, you know, and they put up a card. So whoever wins gets the card. So that was,
right.
they wouldn't play with me unless I gambled. And they always took one of my good cards. So I
Yeah.
progressively started losing more and more because they took all my good cards.
Screw those guys.
Assholes. Yeah.
Yeah. Forget about it.
Hey man, it was good times. It was good times, but yeah, it was a little rough. They always wanted to play football with me too, like backyard football, which was fun because I was athletic, but I
Mhm.
was the youngest kid. Like I got the wind knocked out of me so many different times. It
Oh,
was I just
that
stopped
was
playing.
football was kind of the one sport that I did kind of have a really good time playing. But kind of all the other ones I didn't love. But football, I did have a good time. I remember.
Were you quarterback or long receiver or
Yeah, I was receiver exactly. Yeah, yeah.
That's great.
I'd
So
hit
you have a YouTube channel. You just posted a video
a couple days
uh,
ago.
no, like yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. Yesterday, you're right. Yesterday,
Yeah.
a couple days ago, something
And
like
so it was highlighting one of your works.
that. Yeah,
So I was, scrolling down, because I was interested. Who is this guy? Like, what
yeah.
does he do? So you also had, see, so like a typical social media side to where it was like you had like a public relationship with
Yeah, yeah,
somebody who was
totally.
also famous,
Yeah,
or whatever, a social
yeah,
media type or whatever, and it seemed like you're building like this huge brand, I guess you would say, but it didn't necessarily have anything to do with your art. What was that like, and did you feel like pressure to do that, or was that something that you always like kind of wanted to do?
Well,
How, how
I
that,
was always creating artwork, but all my content wasn't entirely based around just artwork. All the people that followed me knew that I created art and I'd post videos of me creating art, but I would just also post those videos, like you were mentioning, of, me being in my relationship or different pranks and, kind of typical social media stuff. And, stuff like that, really helps with growth and, getting you out to new audiences and everything like that. And, to be honest with you, as I got older and, I, was no longer in that relationship, those things were just uh, not as interesting for me to work on. And, that's why I started creating much more content just based around my art. But it was a really fun time in my life, making, that type of content and doing that. And I think, that was a really good, I think that was a really good thing that I did too, because I was able to show my message of ending gun violence and, everything along those lines to a whole new audience that I never would have reached if I was only creating the art content like what I do now. So I think, it would even be beneficial for me to go back to doing, that type of content in the future, because, it puts me in front of new audiences. But I've just been so focused on, doing the painting stuff recently. So
I see you in front of a mic. You have sang before, is that correct?
yeah, that's so
Okay.
cool. I did drop a little like rap song with a girl who followed me on social media, who's like a huge supporter of ours, and a
Okay.
friend of mine. It was just like a few lines, and the whole kind of meaning behind the song was to promote like following your dreams and, not caring about, bullying or anything along, those lines. But, that's, to be honest with you, it was really fun, like making that, but, that's just not something I'm probably going to be pursuing in the future, because for me, I just really like, physical artwork.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so, man, something I think would be really cool is if I always saw this at like the Hard Rock Cafe, right? So we would do like a DJ set, right, in LA, and then like they would have a graffiti artist and stuff like that painting while the show is going on. Have you ever thought about doing that or
Yeah,
signing up for that sort of
I'd love
deal?
to do that for sure. I've definitely thought about that, and I've done a few shows like kind of in that type of vibe. Like it was more of like it wasn't like a nightclub, but it was kind of more of like nightclub-y vibe. And there was also like a fashion show in the show, I remember. And I'm always interested in doing cool, urban things like that. It all sounds super cool to me, just as an artist. But no, I haven't done that yet. But that'd be awesome. I'd love to be the artist spray painting, during a concert or a club or anything like that. That'd be sick.
Awesome, dude. I need to just shout out our little 10-minute warning. We're about to hit 2 hours. I'm just trying to respect everybody's time here. I
For
know
sure.
everybody's got something going on tomorrow, but anybody in the chat, if you have any questions that you want to ask, we have about 10 minutes. So, get your questions out there. If there's anything you want to learn more, I have all of his socials in the description below. So go check him out.
Yes, sir. Thanks again so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. Hasn't even felt like 2 hours. It's just been a fun time.
Dude, it was like rapid fire. It was
Yeah,
rapid fire questions. The first 30 minutes was like bam, bam, bam.
Dude, I had a lot of questions. Like I was looking forward to this interview more so than a lot of other ones, because I don't know, like I'm obsessed with mentality and people's thoughts and stuff like that. And so like growing up as successful as you were, like from a young age, I just had to know like what that was like, like that's awesome.
It's been a crazy journey, bro. Looking back on everything, it's just been insane. And, I'm just really grateful. And it's really just felt like, so many blessings, and of course bad shit happens, but, I've really tried to find a way throughout my life to turn it into positive things and learn from things, like that. And, I can really genuinely say that I don't regret anything. I'm just really happy with how my life has gone so far. And, I also really appreciate you saying that. I want to add. So yeah, thanks.
No, I appreciate you coming on here, man, for real. And I know we've talked about how your family has been extremely supportive, and you know, I think that's probably the root cause of your success is your family's backing. I would say that for sure.
I think
But is
that's
there
100%. I'd definitely be nowhere without, you know, my family, for sure.
right? And it's a
But
testament to your hard work too. Like they need to believe in you. I know they're your son and you know mommy's little boy or whatever, but like she's only going to support you for so much. You know, you need to start producing, and you
totally.
have. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
But do you have anything like any moment that was like really stressful that you overcame that you learned something really valuable from that you can talk about? Maybe you don't want
Yeah,
to.
totally. When you know, when COVID first hit, I kind of just didn't know what I was gonna do with myself. Um, I was you know, really active on social media, but I had, you know, different things planned that, you know, had to get canceled, relating to my artwork and also relating to just like other, um, you know, other things I had set up for my career, different events and stuff like that. And so when COVID hit, I was just really like kind of just not knowing where I was going to go, what I was going to do next, you know. And what I decided was that I was just going to really focus on what was right in front of me, which was just producing art. And so, you know, for a few months, I was just entirely focused on just making the best art I could. And, you know, I redid like tons of different paintings, painted over stuff and redid it. And I was really just making stuff because I felt like, you know, I'll make something amazing and then, you know, somebody will like it and something will happen. And that's just what I thought. And then after all of that, I started working really hard to try to get my stuff onto, you know, different celebrities, like how we were talking about, because I felt like with COVID going on and everything, that would just drive a lot of hype for my artwork if I could get different celebrities, you know, publicly supporting my work. So I started working really hard on that, you know, emailing and messaging people and trying to get my work out there. And you know, after a few months of doing that and kind of like being unsure of if anything was going to happen or if I was going to go anywhere, I was able to get a few responses from a few famous people. And then, you know, they bought a few pieces and they wanted discounts, you know, to promote me. And so then I got promo, and then that led to a bunch of sales. And then that led to me meeting my manager. He ended up being one of the people who bought art. He first started out just collecting my artwork, and then we got to talking, and you know, I decided to start working with him as my manager. And then since then, you know, I was around. I think I was just turning 19, and you know, then you know when we first met, that was also kind of my entry to the NFT space. He helped a lot get me in, and now it's been a little over a year and we're here. So that was definitely a big turning point for me. So
And I hope to see a CNFT Con. You know, that should be
yeah,
pretty dope if you decide to go. You
I
know,
will.
that would be amazing. You know, I again we'll try our hand at one slot run. If we run into each other, I'll be like, bro, get over here.
Yeah,
You
man,
know. So
100%.
yeah. But yeah, I mean that's it. I mean I pretty much don't have anything else to ask. I mean, I tapped out. I mean, I don't know how much more I can get personal into your life, you know? But yeah, I want to say, dude, it's been awesome, you know, to
Thanks, man.
have you on, you know, as a person who, you know, my first NFT was which was a yummy like uh what was it? Extra Hate Naru, you know,
Uh,
which dropped I want to say right before yours or something, you know what I mean? And then watching your stuff come out and being like, well, Hero Pool liked it, and I really liked Hero Pool, so
mhm.
I picked one up, and then you know going from there, and then um, you know seeing where you've come has been pretty crazy and great, I think, and you know going from Venice Beach and you know using glue to you know try to mock up these replicated guns and stuff, and now you have somebody actually do it for you who's a professional at it.
Yes, that's what you were getting at.
It's a great thing.
Yeah, that was a huge part of my story. Is I'd use Elmer's glue to glue those, replicas on, and then we'd sell one on the Venice Boardwalk for $100, and then the client would call like a month or two later, and his replica gun fell off the painting, and we're just like, fuck, and that's not very professional, So then, I figured out a way to have it professionally done to where that would never happen. But yeah, fun.
Yeah. So it was really great to see you still in the space. I'll make sure that I pick up one of your humanities, which has different families inside of it, right?
Yeah. So let me add. There's 5 different characters that I designed. Each character is kind of expressing a different mental health feeling or mental health struggle that I feel like a lot of us, can relate to. I feel like they're kind of the most common, ones. There's, heartbroken humans, frustrated females, lighthearted ladies, mad men, and anxious individuals. And so, it's kind of a mixture of different feelings and emotions and struggles. And, there's different rarities for each family and different assets in each family. And, it's all in, support of mental health. And we're raising money, like I mentioned. And I think, I think the project is going to be a really big thing moving forward. I think it's going to be a big piece of me and just of the community overall. We're going to really be working hard over the next few months, just building out, this project as much as we can. So, and, I'm always working hard to onboard new people as well from, my different social medias. So, yeah.
Yeah, so if any of you guys want to buy any of these NFTs, you can go to humanitygc.io/home and then just click mint now. And it'll bring you over to the whitelist price, but this is going to be the public price, which is 100 ADA per NFT. And it looks like you do get a slight discount if you buy in bulk. So you can check it out for yourself. There's the payment address. Double check for yourself. Don't trust me. Go to the website yourself. But yeah.
Well, I'm really glad that you guys like the art as well, and I appreciate that a lot. It's always great to hear, So, and appreciate you guys having me on as well.
Really 100%, man. Yeah, I appreciate you for finding the time to come out here. I know 2 hours is sometimes a lot for everybody, but you stuck through the whole thing. You were a trooper. We bombarded you with questions, but man, it was a pleasure speaking with you. I really do appreciate it.
Well, thanks a lot for having me, guys. I really appreciate that, and I hope we meet in Vegas, and let's do it again soon sometime for sure.
Yes, sir. Well, all right, guys. Remember to get outside, see your family, see your friends. We're here to make more money so that we can spend more time with them. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace.